Hello everyone, Sarah here, back again with another 3D Sunshine build video. Now one of the things I've always struggled with in Minecraft is building organic shapes. It's really easy when you're working with blocks to just build structures that are a composition of boxes because they're so easy to make look nice. So I wanted to challenge myself today to see if I could make something that looks a little more natural. I just finished playing 3 hours of Skyrim, so I've got dragons on the mind right now. So let's try to build a dragon statue. So because I want things to be freeform, I think I'm going to use a lot of the drag draw tool today. So I'm just going to start by putting a block down, not in the middle, but maybe away from the edge where I think a foot would go. And then from there, I think I'm just going to start sort of defining a shape, maybe get sort of like a skeleton and a size down, and then from there we can just sort of build out and hope that we get something that looks recognizable in the end. I'm not even shooting for pretty at this point. So I don't think these dragons are going to be nearly as cool or as thorny as the dragons in Skyrim, but we should get something that looks interesting. So now I've just kind of started at the floor and I'm working my way up to where I think a leg would go. So I think a leg would stop right about here. And at this point, a front leg would really sort of turn into a neck. So I think I'm going to start coming up this way if I can. Yeah, I think that looks good. And so now if this is sort of the bottom of the neck, then this will sort of come out and define the bottom of the jaw. And so now with the jaw defined, we can sort of just keep sort of outlining. So I think we'll come up and out where we'd expect a snout to be and come back up, and we've got a bit of a head defined. And now it's not perfect, it's very lumpy. It's, of course, because it's made out of blocks for sure, but this is always something that can come back and be refined later. Now I wonder if that head is a bit big compared to the shape we have thus far. So I think I am going to cut this back a little bit by filling in and sort of shaving off from the front here, which I'm going to do with delete block. So let's sort of shave this back. I think that size is better, but I don't think that head is nearly pointy enough. So I'm going to shave this down as well. And fill that back in a bit lower. There, I think that's a much better size compared to the rest of this structure. So now we've got sort of one leg and a neck. So let's finish the other leg to make it symmetrical. So we're just going to start here and just kind of come down to the floor. I don't know where the floor is, so I'm going to get a little lower. Sort of like that. Oh, I think that came out somewhat symmetrical on accident. Yeah, but that's fine. Okay, so now we've got sort of front legs, a neck, a head. Let's continue the neck back. So I'm going to continue the neck back, and then I'm sort of going to fill in where I think the stomach would be. So we're going to start and just kind of drag down and back. And more down and more back. Did I hit the ground on that? Almost. I've almost hit the ground. Let's take a step back and take a look at it. I'm actually really happy with this size. I can see that I'm kind of at the same height that the player character is, and I think that looks really good. I think the back needs to come sort of up a little bit, so we'll do that. Starting maybe up here, and just sort of drag over what we already have. We're a little off to the side, but I think that's okay. I think that profile is a little better. So now we can fill in sort of the belly. Just kind of wildly drag. It seems a bit thin. I don't want to make this too big, but sorry, I'm going into the floor. But compared to his neck, it might need to be quite a bit bigger. So I think maybe my back needs to come shallower and come farther out. I think that is going to help a lot. So if we start here and come back and down again, back up, see how that looks. I think that's a little better. I think it might help to sort of fill in the neck a little bit. So I think I want this to come down a little more and stay there. Yep. And then I at least like to define the top of the neck. So we're going to start in the back of the head and sort of come out a little more before going down. I'm a little off to the side, but that's okay. I can bring it back. Okay, I think that neck is better. I think maybe it's a little too much up here and that there needs to be some volume to the head. So we'll come up here, we'll make the head a little taller on the top. Like that. And then we'll take this in a little bit. So I'm going to sort of just fill this in so that we remember that this is sort of a defining boundary. And then we're just going to carve off the top. That was not the correct tool. I should probably have this on Grab World before I mess up and grab one of my blocks again. Oh, that's drag, draw, delete block. There we go. Let's take this out here and fill this back in right here. Just by going up. I think that's better. So now that we kind of know where the top of the neck is going to be, we kind of know where our lines need to go to get this body to look a little more natural. Make sure I'm on draw. Just sort of start and work my way down. Back up a little bit to look at it. I wonder if it would help if I like zoomed out just a little bit. It would give me a slightly farther reach, I think. No, I think that looks a little too lumpy, so I'm going to take this out, but I'm going to keep filling in. Actually, maybe if I continued to fill it in, it'll look less weird to me. So I'm just going to keep going, and if it's awful, I'll just have to scrap a lot of it, but that's okay. So we'll start, we'll keep coming, just keep sweeping. I do think that looks better. I think the legs are going to end up looking short, so I think instead what's going to happen is this is going to be sort of like the upper arm, and it's going to be kind of sitting and have sort of like a lower arm coming out this way. It's not perfectly proportioned, but I think it's better. So at this point now, this comes out and tapers into a tail, and then we've got legs. And that'll give us sort of a basic starting point, a backbone. The other thing is I'm not really going to worry about color. I'm mostly going for shape at this point, so I think the whole thing is just going to stay cobblestone. So let's bring this out. Oh, we stayed relatively straight too, which is really good. So let's bring this out. This is going to be kind of like where the hips are. This is where his legs are going to start, I think. So I want to make sure that those are kind of bookmarked by doing this. I'll come out again like that. I'll work our way around. I don't really have enough room on my build plate for a tail, but I think it's okay because I don't actually have anything else in this world. This is a different world from the last video I did. So I think it's okay to come out and just kind of down like this. Now I'm not going to fill in the tail completely because I think I want it to sort of curl around maybe in like a courtyard area. Maybe I'll fill that in with something pretty some other time. But for now, I'd like to sort of work on this leg, and then we can get a sense of how it's all going to sort of look in the end. So this is going to come up and sort of down. So if you think about how a cat or a dog sits, its legs sort of come up and over. And it's going to be kind of like that, and they come back, and then they come out again, and this is sort of like the flat of their... That's not actually the ground. That's fine. Oop, I'm in the ground again. Let's take another look. I think that's okay. I think that is a relatively appropriately sized leg. Now that everything's kind of got the cobblestone texture on it, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the leg kind of falls this way and comes out this way, which means this just needs to fall to the ground, and I think we're good. So let's draw. Let's just try going straight down for now, but usually it like cuts in a little bit, I think. I think it like cuts in here and then... Okay, sorry about the hiccup, everyone. I just installed a new graphics card and it appears I haven't worked out all of the problems yet. It might impact recording a little bit, but I'll try to keep the damage to the video as minimal as possible. Right, so we're working on bringing this leg down to the ground. And usually these legs will cut in a little bit, and then their heel will come out. So maybe instead of cutting in, I'll just come out like this, and then bring this across to the toes. Oh, and I'm in the ground again. Like that. So we'll back out and sort of see how that looks. Okay, I think that leg is a bit large on the back. So I think I'm going to sort of cut some out here. And draw up this way. And then cut across like this. Let's look at it sort of from the other side, because these shadows are making it kind of hard to see. There we go, that's better. So now we can kind of see where the foot is, that it's coming down and out this way, and then across and back this way. I think it needs to cut in a little on the front as well. So I think if we just take out this one block right here, that should help quite a bit. Yeah, I think that's better. So let's do this again on the other side. And then start sort of filling in the details and rounding things out. I'm trying to delete this block. There we go. So let's crawl through our dragon to the other side. I want to be on draw. And I can kind of see the shape through, so I should be able to just reach out for this line here and sort of follow the shape I made previously. So it came back in, and it went down to the ground. And then it came out to about here. I don't know if that's exact or not, but that's kind of the point of things looking natural, is that they're not going to be perfectly symmetric. Okay, so there's the front of the leg. And now the back of the leg came down and across and then down and out again. Sort of like that. I think this leg ended up much flatter than the other leg, but that's okay. I think the structure is still good. It also looks like it's a little farther back than the other leg, but I think that's okay. So how are we going widthwise? Okay, so this side needs to come out a little bit. This doesn't look too wide. So like this is kind of my center point. I think that's a good width for the neck. This might be a bit too wide, but I think the fact that this side is sort of coming out this way is good. So now I'm just kind of fill in that line just by starting here and just coming up, around, and down like this. And we can play with how that goes together a little later. And so now I want to take this out and move it back. So I'm going to come back like this so that I can delete this. Let's see how that looks. I think that's good. So where do I want to start? We're already back here, so let's sort of start on these legs and get these sort of filled in the way that we want. So I'm going to drag draw. I'm going to start at the feet. And so now I want this to sort of come out a little bit to define the feet a little more. And similarly on the other side, kind of working at a weird perspective. I'm sorry if that throws anyone off. Make sure that goes all the way through to the ground. And so now I want this knee to sort of come out this way and come across. And just sort of start filling in what this surface might look like, just to get something to start with. Okay, so now we've got sort of a solid starting spot. And I think this needs to come in down like this. I think this needs to come out a little bit. I think this needs to come out a little bit. Oh, we've still got a hole here, so we'll come up and across to fill in that hole, and then this can come out to sort of give it a little more shape. That's not bad. I am questioning my choice of cobblestone because it's all blending together and it makes it kind of hard to see the shape we're working with. Okay, so let's work on this back a little bit. This back is looking a touch flat. I appear to have sort of lost my definition here. So let's sort of start deleting this a little bit and work our way back towards that heel definition. And I think that's okay. Kind of want to fill this in a little bit. And now from up close, it looks really lumpy, but I think if you sort of come back and look at it from farther away, that actually kind of looks like the leg we're hoping for. Okay, so let's leave that alone. Maybe we'll come back to it later. Let's do the same thing on the other side again. Okay, so we have the starting point for our leg, and I think I want this to sort of come in a little bit. So I'm just going to sort of drag this whole thing in like so, and back across and up so that I can sort of delete it from the front here. So I'll delete those. That sort of makes this part like the wide part of the foot as opposed to the narrow part of the foot. Let's make this foot just a little less pointy. And let's fail miserably at doing so. There, that's what I wanted. And bring, oh, hello. This sort of, we'll close this off, make it solid, and then also sort of provide some width on the inside. Right, and again, we'll just fill this in to sort of give ourselves a solid surface to work with. Okay, and now we kind of want to provide some depth here. Actually, I think that's pretty good. Maybe make it a little less sort of pointy up here, just by deleting this block. There it is. Okay, I'm fairly happy with those feet. So now let's blend these legs sort of back into the tail. So now this is going to come sort of like this, maybe out a little more. This is similarly going to come in here, and this is going to come in here and sort of fill. Oh, hello. Misclick. All right, and that's going to fill in there, and that sort of ties the legs together and gives this sort of hip structure more definition. So this I think came too far out, and maybe that this needs to go down a little bit. So this will come out here. And let's similarly bring this out kind of this way. This way. Okay. Trying to find an angle where we can actually see what we're working with, and I think that's good. So I'm kind of concerned about the front arms and the head. Oh, and we haven't even thought about wings yet, but that can go on afterwards. So let's try to provide some definition to the shoulders. Now, I can't say I'm an expert in dragon shoulders, so I have no idea how broad or narrow they are, but I don't even know very much about dogs. I know cats' shoulders, they either have like really pronounced shoulder blades, but they're usually really narrow. Cats' shoulders aren't as wide as their heads. I know some dogs can have really wide shoulders, so I guess let's just start building it out and see what feels natural. And I think about here is where the shoulders might be, so if I come out this way, those are going to be kind of tall arms, taller than I was expecting. Maybe it is just standing as opposed to sort of laying on its front legs. So that might need to change. So we'll do the same thing. We'll just come out this way. How does that look? Head, shoulders. That makes the shoulders about as wide as the hind legs, which I think makes sense. So now we'll bring this down this way, just all the way to the ground, and see where that leaves us. I like that. I actually like that a lot. So before I do too much more on this, I'm going to erase sort of the structure we had before. So there's that one. I think it comes out maybe a touch too wide, but I think that's the fault of me drawing rather than I don't know. I don't know what other fault it could be, but I'm pretty sure it's just because I'm not drawing very straight. So let's start here. Let's come back this way, and then we will similarly sort of just shave off this part that looks like it's not really in the right spot. It does make this kind of flat, but I think that's something that can be fixed later. It can come out a little wider at the bottom, but I think it wouldn't make a lot of sense for the shoulders to come that wide that quickly. Okay, so now let's do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to start here. We're going to draw. We're going to draw kind of down to the ground. And I have no idea if that's sort of close to the other one or not. It looks pretty close. It might not be perfect. But again, that's kind of what we're going for, is not perfect. Okay, and now that we sort of have a placeholder, we can delete our old placeholder. Now we need to redefine the stomach shape because that kind of cut into where our legs were going to go. And so coming from the side here and looking at it, I think it's just a little bit out from under here needs to go, maybe like that. And that sort of gives it its crest. All in all, this is going way better than I expected it to. And as long as we're looking from the side as the shape of the arms, I think that one came out a bit square, so I think on the far one this is going to change, but over here this one's okay. So let's come in and let's fix that. We're going to draw. We're just going to fill this in. And we're going to delete this, that, and that's going to sort of fix our front arms. Similarly, I think this one's a touch wide like this one was, so let's go back in and change that. I'm sorry I'm like crawling a bunch. I'm not really sure how to get the scaling to work right, because if I'm too far away, I'll be able to move really fast, but I won't be able to go in and do this detail work. And if I'm too close in, I'll be able to do all this detail work, but I'll have to kind of swim the way I'm doing. I think I'm partial to doing it this way. I'm sorry if that makes the view sort of hard to follow for anyone. So let's come in like that. Round this off. Oh, I missed. Fill that back in. Fill it back in. There we go. Once again, struggling with lighting to sort of see what I'm doing. But all in all, I think that's a pretty good start. Okay, let's work on the head, I guess, as long as we're up here. So let's start at the side and just kind of fill in what we can. And now this is kind of my center line. I actually kind of like the way this goes back, so I'm going to do the same thing here, where I'm going to start here. I'm going to start going back. I'm going to take this out. I think I'm going to take this out. I think it doesn't go back quite quickly enough, so now that I'm working on a side profile, I kind of want a top-down view. So I think this is going to come out like that. And then this is going to cut back in like that. Same on the other side. This is going to come out and cut back in. And now this is going to go away. I think I put this too far back. Okay, so I'm not quite happy with this profile. I usually like it a little narrower than this. So, or a little shallower, I guess I meant to say. So this is going to come out, that's going to come out. This is going to come back a touch and come down that way. Yep, okay, so then let's bring the jawline up this way. I know I had just deleted that, but oops. I'm not very good about switching my tools. So we'll come out, not that, out, and up, and that sort of defines our jawline. Maybe come back in just to finish it. Delete my mistakes. That's not a bad shape for a head, just as is. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we'll come up and we'll fill this in a little bit and fill in the jawline. Okay. And now to blend this back to the neck, I'm going to come across sort of like that and down. And same on the other side. Like that. That's not bad for a head. I don't like that this isn't pointy. So maybe this will come out a little more. That's too pointy. It's okay. We'll just leave it like that. Maybe the bottom needs a little definition. This is kind of flat down here. So we'll drag, we'll fill this in, and then we'll come down and out this way. And again, this way. One more. Oh, I'm actually a little off from my center line. I could group and move this, or I could accept the fact that it's not on center, and I think since the goal of this is to make something natural and not perfect, that I'm just going to leave it and deal with it as much as I actually want to fix it. So let's fill in these shoulders. And the rest of this neck. Like that. Let's take these out. I know I just put those in, but I changed my mind. Let's look from the front, sort of from under, and see what's up. This is not very good, so we'll fill in here a little bit. Okay, and here maybe. It's a little better. So let's sort of define the other side of the leg. So I think this is going to end up coming out down this way. So we'll start and we'll just kind of drag out and down this way. And that should fill in some thickness on this leg. Yeah, I think that does a good job filling in. And we'll do the same thing over here. We'll start and we'll just kind of follow our existing path down to the ground here. Okay, and let's just fill that in so we have a place to start, and then we can refine from there. That's kind of been the theme, is just generate something and then fix it until it's what you want. So that's filled in. It's filled in from the front anyway. I know we'll have to kind of look at each side and sort of change things from there. Yeah, so let's bring this sort of out and down this way. Let's do that. And now this edge is a bit flat, so let's maybe come out this way. Okay, now those are kind of turning into boots, so maybe it comes back and down a little bit, but not as much as it would have before. So we fill this in, and then we cut away a little from here. So we'll come in like this, and then back out again. Maybe we'll take a little more off the top here. Take out this block that's looking at me funny. Sort of fill in an elbow. Come up here, fill in a opposite elbow. I don't know. If this is your elbow, I'm not really sure what you call this part. It probably has a name. I'm sure some doctor's given it some Latin name that I don't know how to pronounce. And now paws are going to come out like this. And then I want to delete this one. They're kind of blocky paws, but I don't think I can really do anything about that. Actually, maybe that's better. Like, I could get really nice looking paws, but then this whole thing would be so big that we're almost using the voxels like they're pixels, which I think defeats the purpose a little bit. Like, most of the time when you see those really amazing builds of the Taj Mahal, they're just so big that the individual block doesn't matter very much. Nothing against them. They're incredible. They certainly take a lot of time and effort to put together, and I commend anyone who's capable of doing that. Just not me. Nope. So we continue to crawl around and sort of just fill things in, and I'm actually kind of liking that. Again, it's really lumpy, but it's charming, I hope. And now let's sort of try to do things on the same side. So we'll start with the box. I kind of know how to get that to look not as strange, I guess. I'm really just having fun with it, in case you can't tell. Like, this is not going to be a good build come out the other end, but it doesn't matter because I'm having so much fun. And I'm sure it's something I'll still be stupidly proud of come out the other side. Alright, so we'll fill in the back of the leg a little more. And maybe this one's not quite so bent as that one. Give it a slightly more natural stance. So we'll just come up this way. We'll fill in a little bit. Fill in a little bit here. That would give a good excuse to the way the neck sort of flows. So the neck sort of comes in and then immediately flows into this other leg, unless I sort of trim this a little bit. Maybe just this one. That'll help. Drag, draw. Maybe this comes down, and this comes down, and then this comes down, and that makes a slightly more natural transition. And I think it does. I still think the neck is a touch narrow here, so let's come up this way. I know I've like deleted and placed that specific block several times at this point. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with the front of this thing. So let's start working on sort of the midsection now. The trouble with the midsection is that we have to try really hard to not just have it expand out and cover all of the detail we've already made. So I'm going to be really sort of cautious about expanding this sort of towards us and giving it some depth. It might not need more depth than it already has, but for the time being, I'm just going to fill this in along the center line, and then I'm just going to sort of slowly pull it towards us. Or quickly, depending on how poorly I aim with my cursor. I never did establish what these were called. I seem to be going back and forth between cursor and pointer. So we'll just come in here, and we'll come up this way. Oh, hello, where am I? I'm in a tail, I guess? Working sort of in a tiny area. We'll just kind of bring that up. I'd like to bring it up a little slower so that it cuts into the tail, maybe about here. I think that might be a little too much, so we'll sort of trim this down a little bit. Actually, I'm okay with this. I actually like how this looks, so I'm just going to kind of fill in this area and blend it a little bit. Draw. Okay. And same over here. This is just going to kind of come back as is. Maybe one more this way. Oh, hello, floor. Sorry, I've done that quite a bit today as I've just kind of lowered us into other blocks, and I know that can be a touch disorienting for people. Carefully place my cursor so that I don't drag draw where I don't want to. So we'll fill that in. Work in very tight spaces. Fill this in. Drag this up a little bit to fill this in. Okay, I have no idea where I am. I'm just going to back out at this point. Yeah. I do think this needs to come a bit wider and come up against this leg, and that's okay because it's more the outside detail of the leg we care about. So I'm just going to fill this in. And similarly down here. And again on this side. Okay, let's get out from under. And then come around the front. And sort of continue on our way. Where does this leave us on the top? Okay, so I'd like to blend this back into here, but I think I'm going to do it from down here instead of up here to sort of keep this definition. So we'll fill that in. And bring this down. There, so that keeps that definition a little bit. I think this needs to come sort of this way. And this also needs to come out again this way. And maybe this needs to go. This is kind of blocky. There, I think that's good. So I'll cut the same block out over here. That's probably okay. And then we'll fill this leg in a similar way. So I'll come around this way. I'll start down here and come across this way. Fill this in. Fill in up here. Keep this coming across. And now if I want to bring, I kind of want to just bring this plane up this way, kind of build the stomach and body in layers. I think that came out a bit too far. So we'll bring this back. We'll draw, we'll come up this way. That's better. I think that's much better. I do want to fill in this hole back here though. So now this can come up and meet the neck. And that sort of completes that shape. So we'll bring this back this way, fill this in, and that is a bit flat. I can sort of come out a little bit here, but not terribly much. Once again, everything is cobblestone. But I think that's good. You get kind of the idea, like from looking at it. It's somewhat, or at least it will be recognizable with the wings, and you don't just kind of look at it and go, oh, it's a blob of cobblestone. Maybe you're sitting there watching this video going, it's a blob of cobblestone. But, okay, so on the other side, that is a block of sand. So we'll fill this in, keep filling this in. I think this will look much better once we're in Minecraft lighting. I know that the lighting here isn't exactly the same as it is in Minecraft, which is fine. But especially I know with the smooth lighting update, which I think was a beta update, that's really sort of helped sort of see the definition of blocks. Because I know Minecraft lighting used to be like this. And I think this is still an option, especially if you run like a low-end laptop. Let's bring this back. Let's bring that in so that it doesn't sort of impede on the foot. Okay. And I think we're going to have a similar problem where this is kind of flat looking, especially back here. So let's bring this out for sure. Now I think our transition was better back here. Yeah, so we will need to bring this out a bit. Come out this way. Sort of come down this way. But I still don't want to come out. I think we put this leg a touch too close to the body. But we'll try to keep the area that we're bringing out small if we can. Oh, and fill in the holes. Maybe I should present this challenge to someone with more artistic talent than me. But actually, this isn't awful. This isn't bad. It needs a tail, and it needs wings. Now, wings I might be able to do. So we're just going to start sort of at the shoulder, which I think is, or just behind the shoulder, which I think is about right here. I'm actually going to zoom out for this. We're going to start here. We're going to go this way. And we're just going to sweep wildly up like so. And then again, starting here, I'm going to come out, hit my blinds, and again. That is cool. I wish I did it at a slightly different angle, but that's okay. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, where we're going to start here. We're going to sweep up. Again here, we're going to come out and down again. That's actually really cool looking. I think that one might be a bit short, so I think I am going to come back and just sort of follow my original curve just a little bit more. And then I think this one looks out of place. Okay, that looks really cool, even though it's just sort of an outline, but I think I like the outline better than filling it in. Maybe not with cobblestone, maybe filling it in with glass would look really cool, but I don't want to worry about that right now. So let's get a tail in just so that it's not quite as stubby. And I think we're going to do the same thing where we're just going to sweep this. Sorry, I can't really decide what direction what I want to go. I want to start here, and I want to draw, not delete. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to sweep this out into the ground. Yeah, just like that. And then I am going to start here, and I am going to keep sweeping along the ground. Like that. And I think that gives us our tail. I think that's not quite round enough. So we're going to start here, come out again, and then sort of carve out the inside to give us our definition. Just like that. And now we make that just a little thicker around this base area, and we make this connect a little better, and I think we're good. Bring this out, bring this out. Maybe cut this out a little bit. Delete. Delete. So I didn't mean to stay within the boundary of my chunk, but I did, so that's convenient. Fill that in. Fill this in. Delete, delete. And fill this in. That is a tail. All right. So let's take one more big look at it in 3D Sunshine. That looks awesome. I think it needs horns. Hold on, we're putting horns on it. This is going to be harder because I'm already zoomed out. Maybe I'll zoom in. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I should have had this on Grab World. That's okay. Deleting this should be simple enough. So we'll zoom in a little bit, especially because it's on an area that we know, like, sort of what it looked like before. So we'll delete this. Okay. Now we'll drag draw. And we're just going to take these out a little bit, like horns, like little horns. Kind of like Charizard horns, because Charizard's officially a dragon now. Now that they do the Mega Evolutions. Hey, cool, that makes it so much more recognizable. Alright, let's take a look at this in Minecraft. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so here we are in Minecraft 1.8.9. We're going to go into our second Flatlands. We're going to play this world, not create a new one. I hope I don't spawn inside. Whoa! That's lucky that I didn't build myself into this again. Where are we? Oh, so this is the tail. So let's head to the front. Hello, pigs. Last time it was cows, this time it was pigs. There's our cows. Oh my. Oh, that looks awesome. Especially from the bottom. Yeah, our definitions aren't actually all that bad. Our lines actually look really good. So let's fly around a little bit. We've kind of got the same shadow problem like we did last time. Let's see if flying around sort of fixes it. Yeah, see, it's causing it to sort of light the way it's supposed to. That's fine. Oh, man. This turned out way better than I thought it would. It definitely, like, felt kind of awkward in the middle for the time being, but it's totally worth it seeing the final sort of, I don't even know what to call it. I guess dragon, that's what it is, sort of dragon statue. I do think we're a little flat sort of in the stomach here. I think these legs could have come out a little more, and this could be a little wider. But all in all, whoa, hello. This is so cool. I wonder if we can run up the tail. And then run up the back. Can we go all the way up the head? Oh no, we're stuck. We're stuck right behind the head. I don't think it would look quite right if this block came out, so I guess we'll leave it there. How high up can we get in the wings? I don't think we can get very high. Only about here, maybe? Yeah. You know what might be really fun? Is to tear a hole in here and put a chest behind it with some goodies, like some gold or some diamonds or an emerald or something, as something for other people to find. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.